that's just better and than the opponents he's in. But they'll eat him up in the league. But as a receiver, I think he's way better as a receiver just with his skill set.
Yeah. Speaking of James, I'm hearing a lot of talk about James maybe being asked or maybe being approached or somebody putting a letter under his door or something about coming in the box. You know what I'm saying? I don't think yeah, I'm thinking
Hold up.
but I don't think James is going for it. You know what I'm saying? But
Of
yeah,
course
man,
he
I
ain't
think
going
now
for
we got
that.
huh?
So of course he ain't going for it. James, like, man, y'all keep on with that negative talk. I'm playing safety.
Yeah, I'm hearing some talk about you got different eyes on the coaching staff now. So you got you got Zoe out there. Zoe done recruited NFL players from here to Timbuktu. He know what they look like. He know what they smell like. Um, he sees James as a higher draft pick. That linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Hayes has been yelling from day one. But I don't think James. I don't think James even wants to entertain that. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying. So if they was to come at him with that seriously, he may even think about going to the portal. Um, yeah. But why do you think he's? Why do y'all think? Why do you think James is so strongly on, about playing that safety? Because if y'all had to take a guess, if somebody is saying, "Hey man, your money is down here, right? This is where your money at." Why do you think he so strongly wants to stay at safety?
Oh, he not here. All right, I'm my bad. I'm over here trying to put this Commodity McLean video out while I'm doing this. All right, so here's my take. I don't know James Williams. I have never spoken to James Williams, but I've been around thousands of players, and you tell me if I'm accurate or not because you know him, you've interviewed him, you talked to him, etc.
Mm-hmm.
James Williams likes the hype and the name calling of being back there, making big plays, the interception, the big time hits, in that essence, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I went out. Is that X video going? Okay. So he likes that, right? Um, it's almost like a kid. Nobody, I always said this earlier. Nobody ever wants to go down in position, meaning everybody wants to be a wide receiver because you get your name called. But if you can't catch, they move you to DB. But if you're too big, they move you to linebacker. No linebacker wants to be a D lineman. No D lineman wants to be no defensive end wants to be an interior lineman. No D lineman wants to be an offensive lineman. So, but mind you, that's where the money is.
Right.
Fortunately, that's where the money is. He doesn't want that because he thinks he can do it at that level. And again, even with all that he's done, he still not has answered that one question I've had about him. Playing man. Everybody says he can do it. I've not seen him playing straight up man. And the one time I did, they got him. But it
was Hayes just blacked out on us. X, what the hell just happened? That boy just disappeared mid conversation. So shout out to Chris Young, man. Shout out to Chris Young and shout out to Kane334. Shout out to Chris Young with the $10. Chris Young say, can y'all explain to casual fans why June commitments shouldn't be taken serious? X, can you explain that?
Because you got July, August, September, October, November, December. You got 6 months where anything can happen, anything can change. The staff might find another player they want instead. NIL deals. It's so much that could go on within 6 months that it doesn't matter until the kid actually commits and signs a paper. Like it doesn't, committing early don't matter no more. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a lot of kids who commit early for teams, and then on signing day, if they don't sign to the team they committed to, that's going to be major. So, is it important, or is it just we want?
Oh,
I don't know what's going on. This guy tripping today, man. I don't know what you heard from me.
I did that. You just went away like poof.
I was just up here talking, and I realized you
just went away like poof. No, we heard everything you said. You was getting to a point too. We heard everything you said right until it went poof. But you were saying James still haven't explained to you what?
Oh, he still has not proven the man aspect of his game. Can he tackle? Yes. Is he aggressive? Yes. Is he smart? Yes. Can he play multiple positions in the backfield? Yes. Can he control and be the quarterback of the defense? Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. But just because you're the general in the army don't mean you could be a sniper. You know what I mean? You can give directions, but that don't mean you can do every job there. And that's the point. I think that's going to happen. And I think that's what's going to hinder his draft stock, I believe.
So let me ask you a question, Coach Hayes. What gives you the assumption that he can go down there and put his hand in the dirt or be a in the box linebacker every play?
Because of his size, his ability.
Because naturally, a safety don't want to be doing all the tackling or doing all the hitting every game. Safeties like to roam alone, don't get hit, intercept passes, push receivers down. That's what safeties like to do. Safety ain't really trying to, right now they got to go out there and make tackles because your defense so bad. So now you're telling me I got to switch and go be a linebacker? Well, I got to make 80 tackles a game. I got to go get contact with the pulling guard or the pulling tackle now. A lot of them players don't want to do that.
Right.
Just because he's big don't mean he want to do that. Just because he's big, that just he's just big because he's just a big kid.
I agree with you, right? I agree with everything that you just said, but not because of what you want to do and what you can do is two different things, right? I guarantee Shaq thought he was a damn point guard till he stuck his big behind down there in the paint, right? Like, is what I'm saying is I agree with what you're saying, but you have to remember this game is so different. The defensive end is a pass rush spell. That's why you think they've even changed the name to the edge.
Yeah.
They don't even call it a DN no more. They call it the edge rusher.
The pass rush specialist, right?
That's it. They call it the edge. They don't even call them a D lineman is a 3 technique and a nose, right? And a big end. The edge is the weak side defensive end that gets the ball. And that's really what it is. And he has that skill set because when I watch his high school tape, even now, his blitzing ability is basically the same realm as coming off the edge. And he's so long and so explosive. He affects the game every play. Every play.
So why can't we just leave him in packages where he does that? Because we've seen you last year use them in packages where they say, "Hey, James, go blitz," and then he just go blitz, and then the play gets blown up. I mean, I know he's big. I just don't think. I mean, I'm just thinking like he thinking. I don't see myself playing around the ball or the box every play. Right. Give me plays certain here and there, then I do that, but I'm not doing it every play.
You go look at his tape last year. I guarantee 80% of them plays, if not 85, he in the box. Regardless of how bad whatever is, he's not a deep field safety.
You don't think he's a deep field safety?
Because they don't play like that anymore, right? Remember the old cover 3, the Sean Taylors, where Sean would just they're roaming. Those days are done. It's too many receivers to play cover 3 like that.
Well, okay, so the reason why they did have him in the box a lot too is remember once Avante came back, they were able to put all 3 safeties on the field together. I think they did a horrible job because they didn't figure out which one to put around the box, which should have been Avante Williams. And let James roam and let Cam play the deep factor. That's what they should have did, but they didn't do that. They were just like, "Hey man, Avante just go out there. He don't really know what he got going on. He's just playing just because he's good." James, they got James roaming and being around the box. So you're like, well, okay, what's going on with the defense? You don't really know. And then you look at the Florida State game. Cam is supposed to be the deep threat, but then Cam has to go run with the slot receiver, and then he gets beat on that play.
Right.
What the hell type of defense was you running, Manny Diaz? Like, what was that?
And again, I think it was just too complicated. I think it was too much verbiage. And again, these players are not stupid. I mean, you watch Cam at Northwestern, like you said, like we were talking earlier, he roamed the field. He all over the place. Now when he go there, he don't know football anymore. No, sometimes you can make stuff, you can make 2 + 2 hard as hell, right? Everybody know 2 + 2 is 4. But if I break it up into fractions, 1/8 + 1/8 + 1/8 + 1/8 + 1/8 + 1/8, I can get to 4, but look how many more steps I got to do. And that's what's wrong with football today. They don't make it apples. 2 apples + 2 apples make 4 apples.
Yeah.
Well, if I got a peel of an apple, the seed of an apple, the meat of the apple, like what? Come on, coach, stop. You out coaching yourself here.
Well, a little history on James. So I know some of y'all don't heard me talk about this before. We're gonna get the Kane 334 $5. Appreciate your $5. James played on a youth football team that was undefeated for damn near
like
5 years.
5 years in a row.
And the star of the team was Palomalu. And he always was the star of the team. He had the long hair. He looked like Palomalu. He was a real fast kid. Then they had another running back named Chavo, who was the coach's son. Both kids could play ball. My uncle was a coach on his team. Coach James, since James was damn near 7, 8 years old. My uncle would tell me every year, Street, I understand, Palomalu, blah, blah, blah. James Williams is going to be the ball player that come off this team. James Williams was in the background. Now, y'all follow me now. He was in the background.
Don't forget
but he was making all the plays.
Don't forget they had T2.
They had T2 at some point in time, too. T2 came through. But James Williams was in the background, right? He grew. He always was a tall kid, but then 13U, he hit this growth spurt, and he was clearly the tallest kid on the field. And I think what happened is when he touched what you're talking about, Hayes, when he got to touch that fame, and people actually calling his name now, because he was in the background for the whole making plays, but making game-saving plays, but Palomalu was the face of the team. I think once he touched it and he was able for people to say, hey, that's James Williams, James, you're right, Hayes. I don't think he wants to go back into the fray and be hit again. I don't think he does. And I don't think he's a kid. He's not logically he's not thinking years from now. He's a kid. We didn't think like that. You know what I'm saying? He wants to stand in the back, talk to the crowd, and not on some showman stuff. I just guess on some, finally I got my shines. Finally I get my due diligence. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. Because my whole football career, I've been overshadowed by a guy who were maybe better, maybe not better, but they got all the praise. So I think there's some truth to what you're saying, Hayes.
And the thing is, to his credit and to most people's credit, everybody wants to have praise. Everybody wants to feel good, and I get it. It's going to be a new endeavor if he does that. It's not something that he technically done. I'll give you an example of having a player. So we had Antoine Barnes, and Antoine Barnes wanted to be a linebacker. Antoine Barnes was 225, 220, whatever. This is in college, but coming out of high school, he may have been 205 or something, 210. Ran a 4.3.
Yeah, Barnes.
And Barnes was fast. Here's the deal, but he wanted to be our Sam linebacker. That was like our nickel. We called him Sam because I didn't get into the semantics. We just called him Sam, Mike, and Will. All right. So I remember when we get to the playoffs, and me and Coach Dunn talk about this all the time. We like, this dude come up. We used to blitz him all the time, right? And I'm like, Coach, we losing an extra guy in coverage because he's the fifth guy in, the 4 lineman, and he's the 5th guy in. So then we was like, man, how about we put him at defensive end, right? And go get the quarterback, and we still can have 8 or we still can have 7 in coverage because he's that good, that fast. We don't need an extra guy to beat 5. He can beat 2 of them by himself. And so he was like, well, Coach, I'm a linebacker. I'm like, look here, dog. You could be the RLB, the rush linebacker. Shit, for all I care, you could be the quarterback, but you're going to stand right here and go get the quarterback. How about that?
Right.
So you call yourself what you want to call yourself.
Well, we should have used that with Sam Brooks should have been that exact same player for UM, but
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So what I mean is, and guess what he end up going to do when he goes to FIU? He's an end. When he goes, and then here goes the messed up part. This is where the money comes in. When he goes to the Baltimore Ravens, guess what they label him as? He goes into a 3-4 system. Guess what they label him as?
The edge rusher.
A linebacker, outside linebacker. Linebacker. But again, right, you're talking semantics, because here's the difference in getting paid. The edge rusher makes more money than the outside linebacker.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing. T. Suggs, you call him what you want, but he was labeled a linebacker.
But he was in. I mean,
he was in.
DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware was labeled a linebacker, but he was in. Right?
Defense, and that's what I'm saying. So you're talking semantics there, but it makes a difference in the contract. It makes a difference in the dollars.